So I started the day with raw eggs and raw pork. I do raw eggs every single day. Right in the morning, first thing in the morning, raw eggs. Why? Hydrates me. It's very easy to eat because you just have to crack it and drink it. You don't have to clean nothing. You don't have to cook nothing. It's just fast and effective. It gives me the energy that I need. And the one thing about raw eggs that is very important is it has this protein called sulfadril. If I'm pronouncing it right, and this protein has the ability to bind to toxins, to heavy metals that later on will be expelled from the body. Heavy metals are metals that are toxic to our bodies. Can be lead, mercury, arsenic, aluminum, and there's more. And these heavy metals are connected to a lot of problems that a lot of people face. Neurological damage, chronic fatigue, hormonal imbalances, and they are very correlated with dementia. People who have high content of heavy metals in their bodies tend to develop dementia or have bigger chances of developing dementia. And detoxing these heavy metals is very important. Also, something that happens with men is that they lose their hair. Heavy metals makes you lose your hair. It makes your hair gray. So detoxing these heavy metals from your body is a very important thing to do as a man. So the best thing you have to do is avoid everything that contains heavy metals or are heavy metal heavy. First thing you have to do is avoid everything that comes in cans. Canned food, avoid it as much as possible. Most of the vegetables nowadays have a lot of heavy metals due to the pesticides and the soil they grow. So this is a thing you have to be careful with. And lots of food, mostly plant foods, have heavy metals. So you have to be careful with what you eat. But yeah, then raw pork. I usually prefer to do organs right in the morning because it gives me a good amount of energy. I feel great and I can go hours without eating, and I have this energy and focus and no brain fog, and I can work well properly with no breaks. Eating raw organs is like you having your sunglasses the whole day, and then you take the sunglasses and everything seems beautiful. Everything that you see seems beautiful. And eating organ meats is the same thing. And that's how you feel. When you start eating raw organ meats, that's how you feel. Everything seems better. Everything feels better. But I didn't have any organ meats this week. My butcher couldn't get heart and liver. These two are the organs that I eat the most. So yeah, I just had some meat that will give me more energy and extra protein. Some fresh squeezed orange juice before the gym. This is something that I like to do. Get some vitamin C before the gym, some water and sugar before the gym. Orange juice gives me the energy and keeps me hydrated. So yeah. Then before the gym I had this shake with banana, butter, eggs, and honey. A balance on all three macros, which is important for energy, hormonal balance, and testosterone. If you want to improve the testosterone, you want to have all the three macros balanced out. I go with my feelings. I don't say I have to eat 100 grams of carbs, 200 of protein. I just go with what my body feels. Your body knows better than you. Your body knows what it needs, the ratio that it needs, if it needs more protein, if it needs more carbs, if it needs more fats. And also another thing is I don't drink that much water. I drink usually 1.5 liters max in a single day because I eat a lot of raw foods which contain water and are actually hydrating. Drinking plain water is not hydrating. It will not hydrate you. If you want to get hydrated, you want to consume foods or water that is bind to minerals, to ions. This is how you get hydrated. Tomatoes, cucumbers, fruits, raw meat, raw fats, these things do actually hydrate you in a cellular level. Fats are very important to hydrate your skin, your joints, your body actually, because your cells are made out of fat and you need fat for them to function properly. And water that comes in these foods, like I mentioned, tomatoes, cucumber, are bound to minerals, vitamins, nutrients that you actually need. Plain water has no nutrients and it's very deficient in minerals. And these waters that you buy in bottles, most of the time are not that great. So yeah, I don't drink that much water because I do eat lots of fat, lots of raw food. And this meal that I had before the gym gave me the energy, very caloric dense, but it doesn't make me full, which is something that I want before the gym. I want to feel energetic, but empty. Then after the gym, I had my biggest meal of the day: rice, red meat, cheese, tomatoes, onions, olive oil, butter, and a raw egg. This is my biggest meal. Again, a big balance in macros, the proteins, fat, and carbs. This is usually what I do every single day. I rather have potatoes instead of rice, but I didn't have enough potatoes at that time, so I went for rice. But potatoes are better for digestion, at least for me. It feels better in digestion. And on a perfect case, I would not eat potatoes or rice. I would do raw milk or some raw dairy, raw cheese. But since I work out a lot, I want to gain weight or to maintain my weight, I need these carbs because they're very easy to eat, very caloric dense, and since they have basically no nutrients, it's just calories. Because the more nutrient a food has, the more full you'll feel. So this is a good way for me to put all these calories in, but there's nothing bad eating potatoes on a daily basis. The rice, you may have to be cautious because of the arsenic level is high on rice, and digestion may not be as smooth as with potatoes, but the average person would find the rice digestion, that digesting rice would be amazing. This is this meal has a lot of fat. It may not seem a lot, but it has a lot of fat. I usually do 5 to 4 tablespoons of butter a day and 4 to 3 of olive oil, and I have around 50 to 100 grams of cheese a day, raw cheese a day. That cheese I had was a homemade raw cheese, amazing, and yeah, that was it. This fills me up, makes me feel good, fills my muscles, and the only problem is after these meals, I kind of feel sleepy and lower energy because of all the carbs. I have the insulin spike and then it goes down, but I need the insulin spike. Insulin is very important for testosterone. And yeah, insulin, the cholesterol and the protein is very important for the testosterone. So that was it. Then my last meal, potatoes, raw chicken, and olive oil and butter. That was it. Once again, all the macros are balanced out. I'd rather have white meat at night because if I eat raw red meat at night, I cannot sleep. I have too much energy, I have too much adrenaline, and I cannot sleep. It's better to eat raw meat in the morning and white meat at night. But what I've noticed is that if I eat cooked red meat, I sleep normally. The problem is when I eat raw red meat. Red meat gives you a lot of energy, adrenaline, power. Raw red meat gives you all these things, and you don't want to have it at night. White meat, seafood is better. In a perfect scenario, I would have organ meats during the day, oysters during the day, but right now I cannot have it. I could not have the organs because my butcher didn't have it, and I don't have oysters with me right now, and oysters are very expensive, and I would have raw milk, but I cannot have, it's hard, it's very hard here to get raw milk. If I had these three foods, my diet would be perfect. But yeah, I try to eat organ meats at least 3 times a week. Liver or heart. Sometimes, every now and then, I may have some testicles, some brain, but these two are the staple. And at night, this was my last meal. As you may seem, and it may seem like I didn't eat that much, but the meals that I had are very caloric dense. The 3 meals that I had, the pre-workout, the post-workout, and the last workout, and the last meal, it may seem that is not that much, but it's very caloric dense because of all the fats that I eat. I don't count calories, I don't track nothing. The proteins, nothing. I just eat what my body feels like. There's days that I eat meat just once. There's days that I eat meat 3 times. There are days that I don't eat eggs. There's days that I eat more carbs, more fats. This will depend on what my body needs. Your body knows what it needs. There's a difference in you wanting to eat junk food. If you want to eat junk food on a daily basis, you have some deficiencies, which may be fat, maybe protein, minerals, vitamins. This is what I ate. Not every day is the same. There's some days I may eat some more organs. There are days that I may eat 10 eggs. It depends. But I try to stay with these foods, stay in this diet with raw meat, raw eggs, raw cheese, potatoes, fruit juices every now and then, lots of fat, sometimes seafood. That's what I try to do. And this is a very testosterone friendly diet because I have lots of fat, which are very needed for testosterone and for your health. Protein is up there, is high. The carbs are moderate to high. This will depend on the day, but yeah, that's basically what I eat. If you avoid junk food, processed foods, foods rich in heavy metals, you eat enough cholesterol and protein, you are doing amazing. You don't need to do raw foods to have a decent health. But if you want to go to the next level, raw foods are mandatory. This is something that I've noticed throughout all these years of eating raw meat, experimenting with different diets. If you want to go to the next level of health, if you want to ascend, you need raw foods.